Well, here we are at the VRA Ask Me Anything series, and we have a fantastic guest with us today who I'll be introducing shortly. My name is Daniel Dubowski-Bryant. I'm founder and director of Educators in VR, community of educators around the world coming together inside VR to collaborate, share, and learn together. I'm also executive director of the Virtual World Society, where we're working towards a benevolent metaverse for all. And it is my great honor to be asked by the AIXR and the VR Awards to host this Ask Me Anything session with Ed Wisniewski. Did I get it right? Ed Wisniewski?
Perfect.
Wonderful, yeah. From NORCAT. And his company, NORCAT, has won in November 2021. You won the Best VR Education and Training of the Year award, which we'll be discussing today, but also about your company and your project. So I'm going to hand over just in a moment to Ed. Before I do, this session is going to be in two parts. We're going to hear from Ed, then I'm going to have a conversation and ask you a little bit about your work and your plans, and then you will have the opportunity to ask Ed some questions later on. And when that happens, we will make your microphones, put it on broadcast so that everybody can hear you. But while we're having the conversation and hearing from Ed, we're going to ask you to stay silent or muted, and then you'll have the opportunity to raise your hand and speak directly with Ed. So Ed, how are you? You well?
I'm well.
Fantastic. Want to introduce yourself a little bit and the company and the project that you work on?
Sure. My name's Ed Wisniewski. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for NORCAT. I'm here with my studio manager, Andrew Kostuik. We are a technology company and an innovation company in Northern Ontario. We were tasked with an opportunity to try to solve a problem in our resource industry in mining. Mm-hmm. And we gathered our team up, and what we did was we came up with a concept on how to solve this problem, which was our what we call Valet VR. And as our teams went underground, we learned about how to do circle checks, is what this product's about. Mm-hmm. And with a very small team, we were able to in a very short period of time produce about 4 vehicles that the mining industry would use to do training. And the reason why this was a problem is because in the mining industry, training to do circle checks underground has a few issues. One, when you're training underground, you have to take a vehicle out of production, and taking a vehicle out of production causes time problems. They're not making money if that vehicle's not operating. And
like with keeping planes in the sky, right? You got to keep the planes running all times. Yeah,
absolutely. The other issue that we have with training potentially underground is when you do a circle check, it really may only be a 20 or 30-minute training session per student. Mm-hmm. But just by the nature of going underground, even though you take a cage ride underground, you go to the 3,000-foot level, you do your 30 minutes of training. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, the cage is not coming back for 4 hours or 6 hours.
Right.
So you've lost that time now because you can't get back up to surface. And that's kind of actually what happened to our production team. Our production team went underground. We were supposed to be under there for about an hour, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Andrew,
the cage broke down, and we were stuck for about 4 hours. So
yeah, so exactly.
He didn't take the training.
I can see my video
the training.
Nodding his head. Yeah, and so what happens is this is where VR as a tool in education actually became a perfect solution, because it allowed us to duplicate the environment, duplicate the vehicles, duplicate the problems and the potential scenarios. Allow trainers to change the types of environment, scenarios, problems that you can encounter, and then go through the training at the student's pace. We're not taking a vehicle out of production, and we're not potentially being stuck underground, losing time.
Wonderful. That sounds fascinating. Want to jump into that a whole lot more just shortly. And if I'm not mistaken, you have some slides or a bit of a reel to show us as well? While we're
Sure.
getting that ready, is that right? Adam, I think you're ready to play that. Can I invite you just a couple of steps, virtual steps forward? We have so much space here on the stage. Nice to be a little bit closer to the audience. An audience, just testing. If you want to just give us some emojis, you can give Ed and NORCAT a bit of love here with some clapping smiley faces. Let us know you're with us. Fantastic. We got a friend here. Hey, Stephen. Adam, when you're ready, I think we're ready for the reel, after which we're going to dig into your project and find out how it feels to win such a prestigious award as well.
Perfect.
Here we go. Wonderful. Give it up for that video. There was so much in that video that I want to dig into. Fantastic. And first of all, everybody, let's give Ed and NORCAT and his team a huge congratulations for winning the award in the first place. Please give it up. Fantastic. This was VR Education and Training Award of the Year 2021 from VR Awards. Fantastic. So first of all, this is a classic reporter question. I stick a microphone in your face and say, how are you feeling now? So how does it feel to win the award?
Amazing. You know, it really is amazing to feel like we've been labeled the best in the world in VR education for 2021.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better thing. But, you know, I'm standing here taking the credit, but really it was my team that it's
a team, right?
That did all this work. Yeah, it was a team thing.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to the team as well. And I don't know where to start. I have so many questions. Maybe just a little bit of backstory. I mean, what's your history with VR training? How long have you been in the space? Is this the first project that's won the award? Has there been a lot of development front end?
Well, excuse me. We've been in the space with VR actually since about 1996. We were developing.
Wow.
Yeah, the thing about the VR 1996. We were using
That's prehistoric in this industry.
Yeah, and it was prehistoric. It was prehistoric development even. But the thing about it is we weren't able to use it. It was something that NORCAT allowed me to always stay with and be with.
Yeah.
Because we knew as a technology center, sooner or later, this technology
it's going to come around.
Off. Yeah.
Right.
But now between 1996 and 2010, that was a little bit of a span that we were able to play with it. Back in 2010, Oculus DK1 came out, and we Andrew, where's that? There he is.
Over here. Hey, Andrew.
Andrew introduced us to the DK1 and said,
Mhm.
this is the new stuff.
Okay.
And again, it still wasn't good enough then for our resource industry. It's
Right.
definitely not like VR today, right?
Right.
So we took the DK1, the DK2, and we started developing VR stuff for our resource sector because we knew that
Yeah.
we had two challenges. One, we had the technology to let it grow with or learn how to build stuff so that it works in VR.
Right.
And then our other challenge is we had to convince our industry that
Mm-hmm.
VR is a tool. And
Useful
back
tool. Yeah.
then, yeah, it's a useful tool.
Yep.
And back then, so our company main product is health and safety. We provide health and safety. That's our big thing. And when we brought the industry in, we had a few challenges. And one of the challenges is we were bringing gaming technology. No matter how you looked at it, it was gaming technology. And we
Yeah.
were bringing it to the industry. And
Mhm.
as we were bringing it to the industry, they were kicking it back, going, well, this is health and safety training, and
Yeah.
we don't want to play games with health and safety.
Right.
And it was a challenge. It was a mindset that we had to change. So again, through just preservation
Yeah.
preservation of getting stuff going, we just
Mhm.
kept going and going through it and building things and finding the right client. And when you looked up at the thing, there was a thing where we were doing a mine rescue thing underground where
Yeah, I
we were
saw
trying
that.
to. Yeah, you saw that. Well, that was actually our stepping stone. We had our mine rescue, our Ontario mine rescue, buy into our technology. And
Yeah.
once the mine rescue bought into it, our industry bought into it, and then they bought into it fast. So
Ah, right. So it's
that
a
was
stepping stone.
it was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
stepping
Yeah.
stone. Yeah.
Interesting. Was that chosen strategically? Did you do that on purpose, or was that a bit of chance?
That was actually, to be honest, it was a bit of chance. We were in the right spot at the right. Yeah, we were in the right
Yeah.
spot at the right time. We were asked by a science center if we would be interested in helping a science center do a mine rescue experience.
Mhm.
Since we are a training company that and we own our own mine, so
Yeah.
we have all of the resources to do it.
Mhm.
And Andrew and myself said, well, the science center can get mine rescue as part of our team to help
Yeah.
develop it, we would do it. And
Okay.
mine rescue jumped on board. We didn't
Super
have
cool.
to force the relationship. They
Yeah.
loved everything we did, and that's history moving on from there.
Fantastic. I want to bring Andrew in a little bit. Do you want to come round this way a little bit here? How are you doing, Andrew? You okay?
Good, you? Yeah, yeah.
So just share briefly what's your role in the development of this product, I would call it. It's not a project, it's actually a viable product.
Yeah, it's a product. So my general role is studio manager, so I oversee all the projects that happen.
Yeah.
But usually I'm the first to jump in and do rapid prototyping.
Right.
So I kind of get the initial idea off the ground.
Right.
And still do most of the UI stuff. But mostly just coordinate with the team, make sure everything's going, make sure all the systems are flowing together, and
Yeah.
ensure at the end of the day that the product's the best it can be, and that the client's happy at the end of the day, and that our students that are coming in and using it are using it to the best, and that they're enjoying it, the experience
Wonderful.
good, and that they're learning stuff from it.
You're getting the outcomes you designed it for. I want to pick up
Yeah.
on the quality of this. I mean, there's a spectrum of quality you can get from low end to quite photorealistic. I'd call this on the photorealistic end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
How important is that for
Yeah.
for your use case?
Huge.
Yeah.
That's always my end goal, is to, like, you can even see, master switch is written in it. Everything that you see here
Yeah.
is the real counterpart that we were given. So in any project that we do, I always want to make sure that it's real. I know with, VR, you've got to kind of stay on the more optimized side of things. But
Right.
when you have a good art team that can do, keep the poly count down in the modelings, and we use Substance
Yeah.
for all our stuff, and we use photo references, and we'll paint and
Yeah.
stuff like that. When people go into it and they notice the little details, and they do,
Mhm.
it makes a huge thing in grounding you in that environment.
So
And
does it
that's
make
hugely
makes a
important.
difference? It makes a difference when you're taking the training, and then
Yeah.
I imagine it makes a difference when you're exposed to the real thing. If you've been
100%.
closer to the real thing in the simulation, the value
There's going to
will
be,
be greater.
100%.
Yeah.
there's going
Okay,
to be a bigger
interesting.
familiarity with it because
Yeah.
you've seen that, and if that VR is represented to the real world, and you see that,
Hmm.
you're going to know exactly what to do. There's no kind of guessing. It's not
Right.
just an abstract representation. It's a kind of
Yeah.
true to life of what the real world counterpart is, and that makes all the
Fantastic.
difference, especially for the end
Fantastic.
user.
Here's a question I have, and I imagine some of our audience has here. Is there any way to try this, or is it, strictly commercial, only for your clients? I imagine.
Yeah, and if anybody's in the Sudbury area, they can always feel free to stop by
Stop
and
by
take
the
it for a
studio.
whirl. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
we're gonna be putting on we're gonna be putting on a show at our local science center for I think about 3 months, Andrew, 4 months, where
Oh,
it is gonna
great.
be yeah, it's gonna be available for the public.
Hmm.
We're gonna home it down to one vehicle,
Yeah.
and kind of scale it down just so that because again, as I mentioned earlier, when we had our
Right.
pre-conversation, when we develop our training, we develop it with the trainer in mind. And so just to
Okay.
give this product out to anybody, they might be scratching their head without that trainer person behind them helping them,
Understood. Yeah,
right?
understood. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So watching again back to the trailer, which was jam-packed full of stuff. Being in a mine, it's a nickel mine, is that correct? In northern Ontario?
Nickel, copper, yeah.
Any of those mines?
We're any of those mines, yeah.
I can imagine it's a high risk industry, a high risk environment. And so from a use case, if you can save any money and more importantly save any lives, you you would get commercial interest and a hopefully a healthy budget. I hope you guys were paid well for this work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, you and I chatted a couple of days ago, and you mentioned that one of the it's been up on here was an AR fire extinguisher training
Yeah.
app that you developed as well. Did we see that referenced in the slides here?
Yeah, it was right there. It was just shown there. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it was in the trailer.
uh,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we developed an AR fire extinguisher. Again, we're all about using technology to solve problems.
Yes.
And our mine, so again, at NORCAT,
Mm.
to work in the mining industry, you got to kind of, you actually start at NORCAT, you get a certain type of certification called Common Core, and that allows you into the industry.
Hmm.
But what was happening is one of the modules in this training is you have to learn how to use a fire extinguisher.
Everybody should
And
know that, right?
yeah, well, everybody should know how to use one. Um,
Yeah.
what the problem is we can't have a fire in the mine. That's against the law, right?
Right.
So the way it was being done in the past was they would actually draw a fire on the wall with chalk, and then they would
Uh-huh.
give you sort of a fake fire extinguisher, and they would kind of walk you through the scenario. Well, our trainers
Uh-huh.
said, we're a technology center. Can we not do better? And
Right.
so we said, well, let's try. And Andrew and I did some experimenting, and we came up with this concept of using augmented reality to scan
Hmm.
the environment, allow you to set any type of fire, whether it's an oil fire, gas fire,
Right.
fire, cardboard fire, it doesn't matter what kind.
Yeah.
Um, and then we engineered a handle that talks to in this case, an iPad
Yeah.
with over Bluetooth. And
Hmm.
you can actually use the augmented reality, set something on fire, and then you actually have to go through the real processes of putting the fire out
Wonderful.
using pass system, and it measures you and tracks everything you're doing.
It's assessed and everything. Wonderful.
Yep.
What's the feedback been like on that? Or what are the results
Well,
like? Have you...
it's that product's funny because we never intended to sell that product.
Right.
We intended to build it for ourselves, and we brought it
Hmm.
to a trade show. And anybody who sees that product wants to
I
buy it
get it.
instantly. We don't even
I
have to sell it.
totally get that.
It sells
I
itself.
watched the video.
It's
I went to
selling
your
it. Yeah.
YouTube channel. I watched it. Right. It's hotcakes, right? Because it's so applicable. It's one of the
Yeah.
best. Well, yeah, one of the best applications of AR for training that I've seen. It's so intuitive. You imagine
Hands
you're
down.
holding a fire extinguisher here, and on the top they've mounted the tablet, the iPad, and you're holding it and you're looking at the fire through the iPad in the real world, and then you're extinguishing it with the device as well. It's genius. If you haven't seen it, NORCAT on YouTube, fire extinguisher. If I'm not mistaken, right? That was
Yeah,
you do have a
Fire.
video on
It's
YouTube.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, go and check it out. That's fantastic. Now, I'm just aware of the time a little bit. So, guys, as you're listening, guys and gals, as you're listening, start getting some questions or comments or anything you like ready in your mind. Grab a piece of paper if you want, so you don't forget it. In about 5 minutes, we're going to switch your mics on or allow hand raising so we can have some input from you. But I wanted to come back to something you mentioned in the conversation we had a couple of days ago, and that one of the challenges you're facing in your region is that you have a lack of workforce, and young people are not feeling attracted to the industry, and so you're working towards like sustainable communities and youth engagement as well. Would you maybe, Andrew, do you want to share a little bit about that, and then we'll hear from Ed as well? Or I don't know who wants to
I'll let
take that
Ed
one.
speak on that one.
Okay.
He's
Yeah, cool.
He's gonna have a few more
Well,
points on
yeah.
that.
So like all industries, we're struggling getting youth wanting to come into it. The problem with the mining industry is it's an aging workforce right now,
Right.
and what we really need to have happen is we need a transfer of information from the aging workforce to the youth, new people coming
Yeah.
in, and we're losing that as the aging workforce comes off, and we're losing the experience.
Yeah.
And what the problem is mining is one of the most important industries in the world, because without mining,
Yes.
nobody has a cell phone. You know, we don't
Right.
have the things we use on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So one of our efforts was, okay, well, where do we start? Well, we start at the high school level, right? So we actually created a division, and we take our technology and our tools, and we bring them into high schools. We have programs that we try to educate the high school kids. We work with our local science center again to try to educate the high school kids, and
Yeah.
we're trying to tell youth that there's careers in mining. And it's not that old school imagination of a guy with a pickaxe underground chipping at the rocks.
Yeah.
It's not. It's nowadays. You could be sitting on a chair like in the Starship Enterprise, and you're literally driving vehicles and working with televisions in front of you.
Yeah. It's exciting. You
Becoming
can sell it, right?
it's exciting. It's a
Right.
different world. Just like if someone said to me 30 years ago that I'd be working the industry, I would have said, no, I'm a software programmer.
Right.
Well, I'm a
There's
software
plenty of
programmer
jobs in the industry.
in
Yeah.
mining.
Yeah.
And I work in the
Understood.
mining industry. So between environmental and health and safety and software development and engineering, exploration, geology, there are so many jobs in this industry, and we're finding that
You're really selling it, Ed. I'm ready to quit my job and sign up, man.
well, that's what we need
Let me
to do.
drive
We
one of
need
those
to
vehicles.
get more people into it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that in a
Fantastic.
nutshell, that's one of the things we've done. Yeah, we put a lot of resources into the youth.
Well, that's great. It sounds like NORCAT has quite a good sustainability policy then around as well, like communities, workforce training, and so on. I mean, having a strategy to do that, having the idea, the concept that might work for the youth, is one thing. What's results been like? Is it having the desired effect? Or kids, or I mean, kids, are the next generation understanding what you're trying to communicate, and are they taking up jobs? I suppose that's really
Well,
important.
to be honest with you, I think it's still too early in our mission
Right.
yet to take that measurement. We've been at it now for about 3-4 years with our youth groups. We are starting to see more and more activity. Like, for example, just recently we were approached by our science center, and
Yeah.
they're looking at trying to develop mining engineering games now for kids, because it's the ball's been pushed down the hill, but I think it's still too early to see if the
Right.
results are actually making
Okay.
those achievements.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So one last comment or question, and then we're going to switch your microphones on. I'm just briefly going to explain how that works. In a moment, we're going to switch the raise hand function on, or it might already be on, I'm not sure. On the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you will see the raise hand function. If you click that, it indicates that you want to make a comment or ask a question. So get ready to do that shortly. But one last question for both of you, maybe. We've talked a little bit about where you've come from and obviously winning the award in this. What's the projection like for you? What's next for you guys?
We just
Well,
want to keep. You want?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Andrew. I've been talking all
Oh,
the time.
well,
ahead.
just in my part, it's keep pushing this forward.
Yeah.
As the tech evolves, we have better tools to create more engaging experiences for students and people that are taking training. And that's really the end goal, is that we can give them the best possible training so they're prepared for their job. They'll have a better, knowledge going into their job. They'll have the pre-training they need, the awareness of doing these high-risk jobs safely and effectively. So that's what me just pushing it forward, continuing to better the tools that we're releasing for our trainers.
Fantastic. And maybe in 15 years, you'll build a health and safety module for Mars, right? Because we're going to be mining on Mars.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
You just have to tweak the vehicles you've got, paint a different color, put a dome on. Wonderful. Okay, well, give it up, everybody, guys, for NORCAT, for Ed and Andrew and the team here. Very well-deserved winners of the VR Education and Training Award 2021. Really look forward to following your work and seeing what you get up to next. Now, I want to hear, we have 4 people at least who are interested in either asking a question or making a comment. So, Mustang, I've just switched your broadcast on. Are you with us? Do you want to let us know where you are? And then Mustang in the blue, quite near the front. What's your question, Mustang?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Perfect. So you talked about some of the benefits to the employer in doing the pre-operational checks in virtual reality. I'm wondering, what are some of the benefits that you're seeing from the learner, that person who's just stepping into the VR world, interacting with this complicated machinery for the first time? What are they getting out of this?
Yeah, right.
You want to answer it, Andrew? Or?
Yeah, I can give from what I've seen from it, from our instructors and seeing the students go through it. For especially for a first time worker that's coming in that's never been underground, the realism part, they're actually understanding what it's like to be underground. So right off the bat, before their first, going underground can be, a lot of people, it's a very nervous thing to take a cage ride, thousands of feet underground. So by being able to simulate that and experience it, they can kind of get a feel for that. And on top of doing the circle check with the instructor, they can begin to be comfortable being underground. Like this equipment's huge. So for them to have a form of being comfortable with these vehicles when they get underground to the real thing, they're just able to do their job better. They're more comfortable. The anxiety levels are lower. They're calmer when they're underground, which makes it safer.
Excellent.
That's what I've been seeing. And just the feedback in general from them being able to do it. They love it and they want more of it.
Okay.
And just to add to Mr. Mustang's question, to help validate that, we didn't just build it and just throw students in it. We actually are working with a university, Ryerson University in Ontario, and they're actually doing a study against students and the training and there's control groups where we've got some students that are doing the full-blown simulation and some students that are just going out to our mine, and then the university is actually going to be going back and doing a retention testing.
Oh, fantastic.
So we validate the data not just by our own means, Mr. Mustang, but we validate it with a university behind us as a third party validating the data.
Could I make a suggestion? When that data is released, if it's going to be shared, would you mind joining either AIXR or Educators in VR and coming to share that knowledge and the learning from that? That would be wonderful. Really appreciate that. I could just see my fingers flicking here. Don't think I've got OCD or anything. It's just a glitch on my controller. All right. Well, thank you, Mustang, for that question. Let's see who else we've got. Right. Next up is Beg. Beg, let us know where you are and what is your question.
Hi, thank you for having
with
me
hat on.
for the mic.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes.
Okay, that's great, because there's two different, actually 3D printing is working on background, so if my voice is little muffy, sorry for that. It is impressive, first of all. I mean, I'm younger than you, of course, as a younger VR user as well. I'm in Istanbul in Turkey, and I'm a founder of the Termiverse Studio. We have Mars mission on there about actually mining in Mars, exactly, yeah, like you said.
Mining in Mars.
It is our vision, actually, because as well, because we know also within the mining industry, yeah, we are creating all this technology, but as well, also we are all the VR technology actually started with the defense industry. And I'm wondering actually from the ethical point, because also you are working in the technology and you have also all the data issues and all other things, but you are doing that for the education, which is great and which we should expand all around the world. We have lots of miners. We lost them in the like mining crash and the other things in Turkey. If you know about those news, it was really miserable. So it is the great point, but from the ethical point, also in the Africa, as you know, there are lots of actually like genocide and all other things happening in the Ethiopia, if you know, because of again mining industry. Yeah, we need this technology, but how do you actually compare your clients about their ethical point? Also, as an NORCAT, what is your vision on there?
Okay.
And I have a couple of questions, but I don't want to actually bother you with them.
I think the question is around the ethic. We were talking about sustainability and community development. I think, Beg, you're asking about your ethical policy around the whole mining industry. I don't know if that's your
not
category.
Only all the mining industry, but as a NORCAT, as a company, how do you choose those clients as well?
Okay.
Like, how do we decide who our clients are?
I think.
Yeah.
Is that,
I mean,
well,
are you looking also for their things?
No, we don't decide who our clients are. What it is we are we are a resource center in Northern Ontario. We have 5 locations across Ontario. So down in Ontario, we're in the construction industry. A little further western Ontario, we're in the forestry industry. My main office where I'm at is a mining resource industry. And our Timmins office is mining. We let everybody and anybody be part of our ecosystem. There isn't whether you're whether you are a multi-billion-dollar mining company like Vale is, or you're a brand new company that's just starting off the ground and you're just a small mining company for a few $1,000,000. We don't treat you any different. We provide you the same technology, we provide you the same services, we provide you the same data and the same everything.
So the ethical part is on them, essentially.
Yeah,
you're providing tools. It's up to you how to use it. Okay.
Our goal is to make sure that people are safe and trained.
Safe.
That's to teach them the right.
We want everybody to go home to their families every night.
Make it home.
That's our make it home.
Okay. I think that's a really interesting conversation, maybe to expand on at another point. Thank you very much, Beg. I'm going to come to the next person. Who else have we got? Let's have a look here. We've got Mitch, my friend Mitch. Let us know where you are, Mitch, and you should be good to go. I'm
in Melbourne, Australia. Hi, guys.
Hey.
I meant where in the room. Sorry, Mitch.
So impressed by it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
In Australia, we obviously have a big resources sector as well. And I think this might be the same as in Canada, that, we have a lot of fly-in, fly-out staff. And the question that popped into my mind as I was watching your presentation was, where is your actual facility? Is it, well, I imagine you're tethered to computers somewhere, but do you take them out to site, or, is it wireless headsets, or how do you work it?
Okay, so our facility is, we have a 60,000 square foot facility up in Northern Ontario as our main building. And just a little about 45 minutes north of us, we actually own our own mine. So it's an adit. And if anybody doesn't know what an adit is, a mine you go down, and an adit you kind of drive into the mountain. So we've been
Okay.
expanding our own. Yeah, we've been expanding our own adit for the last 20 years ish. But the training, like for this VR stuff, we actually have a simulation center at our main facility. So what we'll do is we'll bring students in, and they will be in classrooms. They'll do the VR training with a trainer. And then our other thing we do, like I was mentioning to Daniel earlier about our youth stuff, is we actually have people that will take our technology and go on the road and bring it to high schools or other places where we want to educate people. Our own facility that we will bring people in, fly them in, they can come to us.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting to me because I'm trying to run a set of wireless headsets, and looking at your stuff, I would imagine it's really not possible on, I'm running Quest 2s because it looks like you really do need tethered computers.
So
for the high end stuff, am I right in
the high end stuff? So the Valet VR one, absolutely, we're not going to get away. But like Andrew, we needed to make it as photorealistic as possible. I won't get away 100% on a Quest 2 with that. But with that said, our next project, we're pretty ambitious, and we've been working now for about the last year behind the scenes, optimizing our graphics and stuff to work with the Quest 2, so that our next project that's going to be coming out shortly, which is in sort of like it's a hosting and rigging course. It's going to be a collaborative environment, and it's going to be I'm almost positive we've decided that we're going to try to keep it 100% untethered, so that we have the freedom to have it work.
Greater
photo
reach. More flexibility.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we don't me and my team, we don't look at it from should this be untethered or tethered. We look at it from the perspective of, well, what is the problem? What's the technology we want to use to solve the problem? And in the case of the Valet VR, having that environment exactly. So the environment you're looking at, we all call it our VR mine environment. But realistically, if anybody that was in Northern Ontario went to Valet on underground, saw the 151 ore body, they would recognize this environment as the 151 ore body.
I was going to ask about that. So you've mapped it almost spatially accurate to what they're going to be, not just visually similar, but
absolutely right down to the signs on the wall. And anybody who's been underground at Valet and to that ore body and to our sim center, the minute they put on the VR goggles,
they're home.
They immediately go, I've been here before.
And photogrammetry in the dark.
I was going to ask, did you build that or did you scan that?
It's built from photos. Some of the other stuff in the reel you saw was photogrammetry.
Right.
But also to go back to your point,
it's amazing, guys.
The other reason why we chose to be tethered was so that we have the instructor. So I wanted him to have his own screen, and there's a joystick that you don't see, that he has a third person view, so he can see either the first person of the student, or he can fly around the vehicle and lock on points. So that's one of the main reasons too. And the fidelity, like we wanted to have the cap lamp. There's real-time lighting, which can't be handled on the Quest Quest 2, but
yeah, good to know. I have just a quick following question. Is that a multi-user experience? So there's the trainer leads the experience, but the students are in there with him, or is it a single user experience?
It's a one-on-one for this one. Yeah, everything's
so
local.
One trainer and one student.
Yeah, one student.
Okay, gotcha. Like driving lessons almost. Cool. All right, thank you. Thanks for that, Mitch. Who's next? Who have we got? We've got Mike. Let us know where you are, Mike. And where in the room. There you go, Mike. What's your question?
Hey, less a question and more just saying, hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Mike. So
Hey, Mike.
I got to throw a shout out to Mike, because unfortunately, Mike used to be on my team, was one of our instrumental developers in being part of the development of how we developed the Valet VR project, and he wasn't actually able to receive the award with us because he had moved on to another opportunity.
I see.
And, you
But
know,
he's part
again,
legacy team member.
he's part legacy team. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
Give it
again,
up
thanks
for
for showing up, Mike.
Give it up for
Hey,
Mike. Well
anytime.
done.
Glad to see you guys are succeeding in all this and excited to see what comes next.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. All
Thanks for
right.
coming, Mike.
Reminds me, before we go, we should get some pictures on the stage with everybody, and you know, that's always a nice effect to take away. We got someone else. Guys, we've got a bit more time left, so you know, these guys they don't bite, they're friendly. Answer any questions you've got. Any more comments or questions, please raise your hand. But we have here, oh, somebody just unraised their hand, and I'm not sure what that was. Right, so we've got a few minutes left. I still have questions left. Are we still good to go?
We've got one
Let's
more
go.
question here from Camp.
Okay. I don't see it, but who raise your hand? Camp. Oh,
There
right.
you go. He
Camp
turned
Life
his
VR.
megaphone on.
Thank you. Make sure Camp. There we go. Now I'm seeing it.
All set?
All right. Your megaphone's on. Go for it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Hi, Camp Life. My name's Kurt. I'm actually in your backyard. I'm there quite regularly. I'm in the safety world. So seeing what you're doing, I really appreciate the integration of the machinery. And I'm always curious how you're making the workers feel integrated with the machinery with all the protective equipment that they must wear. I was wondering, is there anyone there we would talk to, or how this is being integrated in the learning systems in your actual profile? Because I think it's impressive what you're doing. So thank you.
Okay. So what exactly is the question?
Question
It cut out.
is,
It
how
cut
are
out.
you
I didn't.
introducing
Yeah.
a person
Bear with me.
into? Sorry.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, you
introducing
went a bit
person-
quiet then. Sorry. Can you say that again?
Yeah, sorry. How are you introducing a person into the equipment that they have to wear on their body, into the actual machinery that they have to use? Because it's quite cumbersome.
Well, okay. Again, so being the training center that we are, so for example, I'll take you on just a small journey of a student. A student would come into us. They would start off with taking some in-class training. They would be moved to our sim center. They would learn about circle checks. They don't need PPE on to do this. They would learn about the circle check in VR. They would learn about potentially driving the LHD in our giant sims. But then, after we do the simulation portion of it, we then take the students and now we move them out to the mine. And with them going out to the mine, they're now in full PPE. They're interacting with the real vehicles, and they're actually being tested against the real vehicles and working in the real environment. So, and we don't really, we've never really had anybody have an issue with the PPE, because in mining, it's like, I mean,
Standard
have to
practice.
wear it. Yeah, it's standard practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a blended learning experience from start to finish. You got another question?
Yeah, may I have a follow-up question? Is it available? Perhaps could I try this out? As I mentioned, I'm in your backyard. I've actually been into your snow lab before when I was doing a safety inspection in the mid-210s. So I'm familiar with the area, and I'm there every month. Perhaps I could set up a time or DM someone.
Did you say you were gonna run a 3-month?
Yeah, well,
project where it could be tested?
well, he's more than welcome. If you're in our backyard, you're more than welcome to come to our facility and visit us. Look for myself, Ed, Andrew, one of our other our chief operating engineer, Jason Buba. Any one of us can bring you through the technology that we have going on at our center. And if you'd like to just
You cut out there.
and
Yeah.
like I said, it'll be available at our science center for about 3 months.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. So we have more people with questions. Fantastic. This is great. Mitch is back with another question. Your megaphone is on, Mitch. You with us?
Yeah, am I on megaphone? Yeah, good.
Well, it shows me you're on megaphone, but it's very quiet for me. Is it just me?
Yeah, it doesn't. So come on
I think
over.
we got a bit of a glitch here.
Put on air, confirm. There we go. Yeah,
There we go.
I did it.
Thank you.
So I'm pitching, I guess, on a job over here in Australia, which is training. It's going to be working with people who are already on the job. And I'm just at the start of this process, but it's actually in such a different field. It's going to be working with people in early childhood, training for early childhood centres, like really pre-K teachers. You couldn't imagine a more different thing. And one of the things that's occurred to me as I'm putting my pitch together is when you're dealing with plant and equipment and processes and things that are to do with, risk and danger, the VR setting is really critical because, that idea of being able to put people in really dangerous situations, let them fail and let them learn from failure with really no risk, is just kind of the magic part of it. It really is so important. And when we get over into the human skills, soft skills, things to do with process and procedure and safety, there would be a lot of that, but it's much harder to map it on because you're talking about dealing with humans. I'm just wondering if you have any aspect of your development studio there, your do you branch out into other industries, and have you worked with that the teaching of the people skills? I know it's a bit of a broad way to say that, guys, but that's obviously a big part of workplaces as well. So I wonder if you have any thoughts on it.
You want to take that one, Andrew?
We don't do too much people skills. We are branching outside of forestry, mining. We are moving into healthcare.
Okay.
But all I can say, like if I was to approach that again, it's if you're teaching them how to be around children, the biggest thing would be the environment and the children and somehow creating a realistic simulation that they can see scenarios out of. That's how I'd kind of tackle that. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like a kid's climbing or doing something and you forgot to bolt something down, and you can actually see something fall on the kid and injure it. As bad as that is, but that shock factor is showing you something
you'd rather do it in VR and avoid it in real life.
I'd rather hurt a child in VR. Like that's as bad as that is, hurting
that's
people.
Kind of what it's there for,
it does show things that you wouldn't think about. And that's the biggest thing of VR is we can do that shock factor and really show people like this is the catastrophic things that can happen if you don't either pay attention or you're unaware of a situation that could happen.
Well, I'm aware of a facility over here who are doing this pretty interesting thing where they've got actors who have motion capture trackers who are actually acting as children in a live sort of theatrical style demonstration. So that's a thing that they're kind of currently providing training through, but they're also kind of studying it as well to see how effective is this. I mean, we have thought that 360 video is probably going to be more of a kind of useful starting point because we're just talking about situational awareness, and the realism factor is higher in one sense. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, just very interesting.
Yeah,
thank you, Mitch.
cool.
It will be interesting to find a list of most risky scenarios in child care and see what of that you could simulate. But we do have two other questions that I want to come to. Thanks, Mitch. We've got Chris. Chris, where are you? What's your question? You got Chris here somewhere? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, over here. Go on.
This project's 100%. Yeah, I've actually brought some of these assets that were meant into testing into the Quest 2 for some other projects. Like, I mean, we have the vehicle. The vehicle is the vehicle. Depending on the complexity, might need to be scaled back a little bit to run on the Quest. But no, everything that we do, I I think, can we reuse this? Can I take that
Multi-purpose,
drift?
yeah.
Can I take the vehicles? Can I take whatever? But the project's theoretically not over. It's going to continue to grow. There's so many more vehicles that we'd like to see. You know, we
Yeah.
got the forklift and the vehicle and the scissor deck, but there's still like bolters and other underground equipment. We've actually been working on adding remote training where the student actually has a VR control deck with a screen in front of him, and he can drive and learn how to do remote scoop operation. So
Wow.
we've been able to add more assets, reuse old assets, and then that really helps to speed up development as well.
Wonderful. So excited to see what you come up with next. Excellent. We have one more. We have our friend Beg from Turkey, whose vision is to mine on Mars. Beg, are you with us?
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for introducing again. Well, yeah, it is the last question, and I don't want to really bother you
Sure.
all, but it is really important what you are doing. First of all, I appreciate for it. It is important also how you integrate your technology with the universities and with the academia. And I believe that also XR technologies should also, I guess, most expand more in the academia and in the other industries. So what I'm wondering also, well, right now you have like different partnership with the academia as well on there. And about the expanding this technology in the other countries, also XR education in the other countries. Do you have any social impact, I don't know, social responsibility project for it, or do you have different partners on there?
Okay.
Well, for starters, NORCAT's an international company. Even though we're based in Northern Ontario, and I've been talking the flavor of we do mining here. But we're an international company. We do business all around the world. We have clients all around the world. We're not bound to this little region. We work with universities and colleges around the world. NORCAT originally about 30 years ago, when we started, was actually born from Cambrian College. So we came out of the college system, and after about I think it was about 3 or 4 years of being part of the college system and taking the resources and using the resources of the college system, we became our own entity. So yeah, no, we absolutely do work with people all around the world. Yep.
That's great.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Well, sorry, it is the last one. And also from the architectural point as well, I believe that you have like different industries you are serving for them for the VR.
Do you want to turn, is it just me? Can you
sorry.
try and see if you can turn your microphone on again?
So did you ask if we're serving other industries?
Yes,
Was your question if we're in other industries?
Can you hear me right now? I'm sorry.
There we go.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's way better.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, great. Yeah, like the architecture industry and the others as well. Not only the mining, but also in the out of the defense industry, of course.
100%. We're not. We've put a lot of effort in learning how to do stuff in VR, and I will take the confidence to say that I probably have I do have the best team in the world, at least for 2021.
Yeah.
And recently, that has also allowed us to expand into the medical industry. I can't really get into the details of the type of work we're going to be doing, but as of 2022, we are now doing VR medical development.
Fantastic.
So we're not, and we're looking at the forestry industry, and we're actually going to be developing stuff for the electrical industry, the electrical unions and stuff like that. So again, the mining was the stepping stone, but all these other industries are now starting to come to us, and our
future is bright for you guys. Fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wonderful.
This has been a great year, and this is going to be even a better year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Time is almost up, guys. I don't want to let you go quite yet because I want to give it up one more time for Ed and and Andrew and the team at NORCAT, and for winning the award. Huge round of applause, guys, for these winners.